Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Friending the Mirror. So, today I'm very happy to have my guest is Mike McDaniels. And the title of today's episode is Life in the Socket. Mike McDaniels is a 65-year-old bilateral BK, which means double amputee below the knee, as a result of a life-threatening gangrenous complication after both legs were broken in a 1970 snow skiing accident. The loss of his lower legs did not stop Mike from pursuing activities he enjoyed, such as hunting, fishing, boating, canoeing. I don't know about canoeing. It says camping, actually, photography, and other outdoor pursuits. He even started skiing again, and in 1995 he was certified as a professional snow skiing instructor, skiing as though able-bodied with the use of prosthesis, or his artificial legs. While he no longer skis, he retains a lot of good memories. When Mike gets up in the morning, he does pretty much what everybody else does. He eats breakfast, takes a shower, gets dressed. He just does it on his knees, often with the use of knee pads. In addition, however, he needs to prepare and put on his prosthesis. And after 45 years, he has a pretty good routine for getting it done and a pretty good feel. At the swimming pool or in the summer when he's wearing shorts, Mike doesn't let what others think bother him. But instead of telling you what Mike says and what Mike thinks, I'm going to let Mike tell you himself. So welcome, Mike, and could you tell us the story of that skiing accident?
Thank you, Don. Hello, everyone. Hopefully I can be coherent and you can understand what I'm saying. Don asked me to tell you a little bit about the accident and what was entailed there. So I was skiing on I believe it was a Sunday afternoon at a local ski hill, and I was making what I felt to be the last run of the day, trying to get one last run in before the lift shut down. And I remember going up to the top of the chairlift and getting off and starting to come down, and I was having a good time. It was a little late in the afternoon. It wasn't quite dark yet, but it was starting to get shady and starting to get a little cool out. And I remembered thinking that I would ski off towards the left-hand side of the run just a little bit and kind of angle up on the slope and slow down that way and stop for a minute before I continued on down. And in doing that, I remember that as soon as I got over towards the edge, the tip of my skis went under a small branch that was, I think, frozen down, and I fell straight forward over the tips of my skis, and then I fell sideways down the hill because the hill was angling a little bit this way. And so I wound up with both legs broken that way, and it was a spiral fracture. I really didn't realize that at first. I just thought that I had fallen down and that it wasn't really very comfortable, and I was just kind of disoriented. There wasn't any pain associated at that moment. And then I really didn't think about it, and I planted my poles on my downhill side, and I tried to push up, and it just really hurt at that point, like nothing I had ever felt up until that time. And I looked down, or actually up, at my legs at that point, and didn't look right. They were twisted around a little bit, and I realized that I was in serious trouble, and I was not able to tell exactly what was going on, and felt kind of disoriented, and it was awfully painful. And about that time, somebody from the ski patrol came by, and I hollered at them. I saw them, I hollered at them, and they saw me, and then the next thing I knew, I was in their sled. Must have been sometime later. I was in their sled going down the hill to the lodge, and they were trying to figure out what to do with me from that point. And we didn't happen to have an ambulance available to come up the lodge at the time, and we had to put me in the back of my 1967 Jeep Wagoneer and drive me down to the hospital. And that's what happened that day.
So what was that like for you at the hospital?
The first inclination was that there was really nothing happening, and I felt there should be, but there wasn't anything I could do about it. They had put me on a gurney, and there was I was in a semi-darkened room, and there was nobody around, and nobody treating me. And then somebody came in and told me that they were waiting for another ambulance to come from another hospital in a bigger town, and they would pick me up and transport me back. And it seemed like it took hours. I think it might have been actually about 2 hours, but it seemed like it took forever. And then I remember coming back to Coeur d'Alene, which is my hometown, and the larger hospital, and the ambulance taking me to the Kootenai Hospital, Kootenai Memorial Hospital there in Coeur d'Alene. And immediately they started treating me and acting on the injury.
So did the smaller local hospital, did they have an idea then that what had happened to you was like way beyond their scope?
You know, I'm not sure. That's a good question, Don. I'm not sure, but I think they might have. It seemed like nobody knew exactly what to do. This was 1970, and that could very well have been something that they hadn't dealt with before.
So my question then is, when you were transported, you got to the larger hospital, and so what happened from there?
I remember that I woke up next time in cast from my hips down to my toes, and I could see my toes sticking out of the cast. And I remember that I was in a lot of pain most of the time, and it was quite uncomfortable. And I remember that that went on for what seemed like a really long time.
Okay, so obviously right away you still had both your legs. That was they were doing the best they could to put them together and help them heal. So tell us what happened, what came about that caused them to have to amputate.
Okay. I think I remember the doctor telling me something about I had 17 fractures of my legs. It was a compound spiral fracture around both bones of both legs below the knee. And I was in a cast, had both my legs at that time, but I was in a cast as Don said, tried to put that back together. Technology being what it was in 1970, definitely not what it is now. But back then, they were doing what I figured was probably the best they could. But I laid there in the hospital for seemed like a couple of weeks, and watched my toes turn black. And they told me that they were going to take me to a hospital in Spokane, Washington, which was another 30 miles away, and they could better deal with the issue there. And we went to Spokane, and I don't remember anything about the trip or anything. I remember being in Spokane in the ICU. Excuse me. I was in ICU, and I remember my doctor from Coeur d'Alene came in to talk to me, and he was telling me how there really wasn't anything they could do at that point, and that gangrene had set in, and that really the best thing would be to amputate. And he was fairly matter of fact about it, although I could tell that he was having a difficult time with the whole issue. He was, it seemed like he was tearing up just a little bit, and I don't doubt what he was. He was a really nice guy, and I remember that the only thing on my mind at that point, being a young man, because I was only like 21 years old, the only thing on my mind at that point was, well, how's things going to be the rest of my life, and am I going to be able to walk, and etc., get around? And he assured me that it was, and asked me what my decision would be as to whether to do that or not. And I said, yeah, if it saves my life, go ahead, do whatever you need to do. And I remember the next time that I woke up, I didn't have my lower legs, and I proceeded to recover from there. I went through a lot of pain for several weeks, and it's been an interesting ride.
So tell me, what was your support system? I mean, you were 21. I mean, that's young. But what was your support system like in terms of family? Did you have a girlfriend at the time? And how did that work out? Because sometimes when people get injured, the loved ones, the girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever, they don't want to deal with it. So oftentimes stuff like that causes a breakup. So what happened with you? What was your support system like?
I'd like to think that my support system was pretty good. Yes, I did have a girlfriend at the time. She was, in fact, the person that drove me down off the ski hill originally. So she dealt with this from the very beginning, all through the hospitalization and the amputation and the recovery process. She later became my wife, who later on became my ex-wife, but that was after about 20 years, and I've since been married again, now again for 20 plus years to Jackie, who is a wonderful woman. But we were talking about support system. So I had my girlfriend, who became my wife, and I had my family, my mom and dad, no brothers and sisters. And I had a number of friends, and there were people from all over who had learned of my situation through whatever means. People from all over who were writing me letters and sending me get well cards and that kind of thing. So I felt that I was very well cared for and had good support.
Well, that's excellent because I've always been told that people who have visitors at hospitals, and that word was visitors, in hospitals generally get better care. I don't know how true that is, but that's just something I've heard. So I think when someone has people around them, and of course it's going to help them mentally get back together. Now, when we talked on the phone a while ago, you told me a very interesting story about getting back on your feet, and I think it was a nurse, and I think you were in a gym, and maybe they were fitting you with blades, but why don't I turn it over to you and let you tell the story?
Okay, thanks. We did talk about that. I went through several months of recovery, and at that point, it was just caring for the wounds left over from the amputation, and making sure that everything healed, and going through all the different rehab processes that the hospital starts up and continues on with the help of other agencies. And there's really nothing the individual needs to do at that point. It's the network that cares for you at that point to get you back to where you need to be to allow you to continue life. And anyway, I went through several months of rehab, and then went to a facility in Boise, and it was the Elks Rehabilitation Center, and I had been sponsored for that by people in the Elks Foundation, and I went down there to get fitted for a set of legs. And as Don was saying, what we had talked about earlier was that I remember when I had gotten my new set of legs, my first set, and I was sitting in a wheelchair, and I was sitting in a gymnasium, and there were people doing all sorts of different things around me, exercises and so forth. This was at the Elks Rehabilitation Facility in Boise, and I remember they brought over my my new set of legs and worked with me to strap them on, and I remember putting them on, standing up out of the wheelchair and walking across the gym floor, and 100 feet or so across the gym floor, and I remember them running after me, so to speak, saying that you know, you're not supposed to be able to do that. You need to sit back down. And I remember that I might have, but that wouldn't have been for long. I remember also at that time walking up a set of stairs and just getting the feeling of doing that. And it wasn't that I was getting a whole lot of coaching at that point about how to do various things. I just did it because I felt like I really wanted to.
Yeah, that's great. I love that story. It's like you just didn't even, hey, okay, I have weights now, let's go. But anyway, I did want to ask you how hard, you mentioned that you went back to skiing after the accident. Could you, how long of a time was there between the accident and starting to ski again? And how did you manage that mentally and physically?
Well, the answer to your question is 21 years between the skiing accident where I lost my legs and the next time I skied. I think that I always had an inkling of wanting to try skiing again because I really enjoyed it back then. But I always had an inkling of wanting to do that, something in the back of my mind just telling me that, you know, I wanted to try that again. And, you know, I'd have that thought, and then, you know, I myself or somebody else would talk me out of it. It's like, well, you know, that's not an intelligent thing to do, or, you know, whatever. And you know, that that does make a lot of sense. But it's not going to stop that thought process from coming back up again. So 21 years later, I've been through a number of different changes, and I wound up back in North Idaho after spending many of those years away in different places, and wound up back in North Idaho, and that afforded me the opportunity to ski again. And obviously the thought had come back into my mind, and I decided, well, I'm just going to do this. So I went down to a local sporting goods store, and I talked to the folks that did the ski rental, and I rented some skis, and I decided I was going to go out and try it.
And that worked out for you, obviously.
Well, it did work out. Don, but it wasn't without a great deal of issue. That was in 1991, late '91, early '92, and I think I spent a number of weekend days skiing at that point. But there was really a whole lot of standing around with the equipment on, and a little bit of skiing a few feet and then falling. There was a whole lot of that going on. And
Well, I think that happens to all of us when we're. But yeah, you had to literally teach yourself over again.
exactly. Well, and not only was I teaching myself based on my memory from how to do it years before, but also the people that rented me the ski equipment. Obviously, they knew what I was going through, and they knew that I was dealing with that, and they introduced me to some folks up at the local ski hill, and the director of the ski school up there, and he was spending his time skiing with me, giving me some lessons, personal one-on-ones, each time I went out. So I'd get my few minutes with him, and then I'd go flail around in the snow for the rest of the day or whatever. But it was still fun. I remember being out there with other people doing the same thing, and I was progressing much like any beginner would, as Don pointed out. But that started to work out very good, and I progressed to the point 91, 92, 93, progressed to the point to where I was skiing more and more and better, and it was a lot of fun.
So I know you've told me also that you like to you go out in the summertime and you wear shorts just like anybody else would when it's warm, and that you also like to swim. So I actually have a picture that I'm going to show real quick, except that it doesn't want to show it to me for some reason. Let me see if I can get it to show. Hello, hello. Me and PowerPoint on this thing is just always an amazing prospect. There it is. So I'm going to show everybody a photo of Mike with his legs on, just so that they can see what that's like. And then when I come back to you here in a second, I'm going to ask you, Mike, to share what it's like for you to go out in public with swim trunks on or with shorts on. So go ahead and answer that for me.
Okay. I think there was a couple different parts to that question. Everybody wears shorts in the summertime. Well, at least almost everybody. But it's just very comfortable. It's comfortable for the individual doing it, and it's also very convenient for me. And I'm going to try something at this point. I'm going to move back from the camera a little bit, and I'm going to adjust the camera down, and you might be able to see.
If you back up a little bit, it would probably help.
Yeah.
Just take a few steps back. I might have to mute your microphone because it might get a little noisy. Now, yeah, you'd almost have to stand up on a chair. Now, we're not quite seeing it.
Yeah, I don't have the ability.
Well, but
anyway, I got my shorts on today.
But I showed a good picture of you, so.
But the good thing about it is that it also gives you the comfort of wearing shorts in the heat, and it gives me the flexibility of just reaching down to make an adjustment to my legs at any point that I need to, instead of going through all of the difficulty of dealing with a pair of pant legs in the way of doing whatever you need to do. So as Don was pointing out, I wear shorts all the time in the summertime, just like everybody else. I also wear swimming trunks when it's appropriate, and I go swimming just like everybody else does. At the beach or at the pool, there's a a little bit of a process. There's a little bit of a process involved in getting ready to go swimming, and it involves, if I'm at a beach, for instance, might go down to the edge of the water and take my legs off, and then put on whatever stump socks or whatever liners I might feel is appropriate, and my knee pads, and go in the water and go swimming just like everybody else does. And the only difference is that I don't have any feet to paddle and help me propel myself through the water. Just do it all with my arms.
Okay, what about people that notice? I mean, obviously you're not alone all the time. Do you ever have issues with spectators that might be noticing this ritual?
Oh, sure, everybody notices all the time. But for the most part, people are interested in letting you know that it's not a problem, or acting like they're not paying attention to you, and you get some of that. And then once in a while, somebody will act like it's a problem for them. I remember one time I was in a pool at a hotel in Florida, and I went over to the edge of the pool and got in the water, and this lady immediately got out of the water and stormed off. And it's like, well, I'm sorry to offend you, but I'm going to do what I do, and if that's a problem for you, it's really your problem, not mine.
Yeah, and you weren't even wearing a shark fin and playing the theme from Jaws or anything like that? Oh, sorry. There's microphone.
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay.
Mike.
No, I wasn't, but that actually might be fun from time to time.
So, so in general, you don't have to deal with people making comments. Do you ever have people that ask you questions about what happened?
And I used to spend a good amount of time with somebody that asked me. I'd spend time explaining to them everything about it, but I realized that I was probably spending way more time doing that than I really needed to. They just asked me a simple question, what happened, and I just answered back with, well, I had an accident. And if they want to take it any deeper than that, then I'm perfectly willing to sit down and talk to them for an hour if that's what it takes, if I have the time. But not everybody really wants to know all that.
So my next question for you is, what advice do you have for someone who might be in a similar situation, for whom this might have happened more recently, who might be having a harder time dealing with the adjustment? What advice, what words of wisdom do you have?
I'd like to think maybe they're words of wisdom, but it's just what I know from what I've dealt with, and I'd have to say that it's your life. It's yours to deal with as you see fit, not somebody else's. And it's not appropriate for somebody else to tell you what to do with your life in that regard. And you've got to get on with your life. And I would hope that you would want to get on with your life and want to get back to as near normal as possible in regards to what you do with that life. It may not be normal at all, but it's what you do, and therefore it's normal to you. So it's your life. Please do that, and if you need some help doing that, don't have any hesitation asking somebody else for help. In 99% of the cases, everybody is very willing to help you.
So my last question before I ask, I know we have a couple of people, a couple of audience members. My last question for you, is there anything that you can't do?
Yeah, I think so. I I really might have a good degree of difficulty getting up on that chair that we talked about just a minute ago. I can do it from time to time, but yeah, it takes a bit of effort. Um, you know, I probably can't do things that that other people might be able to do as it relates to jumping off of small things like you jump out of the back into your pickup and land on the ground or whatever the case may be. It's only a couple of feet, but it's a really long ways for me, and that it hurts to do that. So although I can do it, I choose not to do it. And I don't ski anymore. I think Dawn mentioned that. In 1998, after I had been an instructor for several years, I was skiing down a slope one day, and some people fell down in front of me, and I couldn't do anything, didn't have anywhere to go but stop right there. And that didn't work out too well, and kind of blew out my knee, and that took me a long time to heal, and so that's really painful. So I don't ski anymore because that could happen again. So I just choose not to do that.
Okay, actually, I do have one last question. I'm not seeing any questions come in from our viewers, but I did want to ask you. It's something that someone asked me one time, and it seems to be a concern of a lot of people. Aside from, like, when you hurt yourself, like jumping out of a truck, do you experience any pain on a day-to-day basis?
The answer is yes. On a good day, I experience periods of mild discomfort. On a not so good day, it can be more than just discomfort, and it can be pain. And on a bad day, yeah, I can have pain associated with it. But it's mainly pains associated with fit, and that's a direct result of how things work in terms of the equipment that you're dealing with, and the activities that you've participated in the day before or the night before or whatever. And so you may have different fit issues that you need to deal with, so to make it so that it's not painful that day.
Yeah, and by fit, he's referring to he has to put on the prosthetics every morning. I hope I'm saying that right. And I mean, it's an attachment. So it just sometimes it would probably, I'm guessing it would rub some days worse than others. Am I correct about that? Oh, there it is. I have to go back to you there. All right. So he is holding up his. There you go. Yeah. So thank you for doing that. All right, you're muted, so go ahead. Say what you were saying.
And this was referred to as life in the socket. Well, this is the socket, and so I spend my life in there a good bit of the time with what's left of my stump.
Yeah, except when you're running around the house on your knees. I read that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it sounds like you get around pretty well.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, and I'm not going to let this stop me. If I wanted to do that, I could have sat in a wheelchair a long time ago and felt sorry for myself, and that's not going to get you anywhere.
Okay, I actually had a question come in, so I'm going to ask this question. This is from Pat, one of our viewers. She is asking, how many pairs of legs do you have or have you had?
It's a good question, Pat. I've got 3 sets of legs right now. Um, only one of which I wear every day, and the others are ones that I wear occasionally. I've got one set of legs is the ones that I wear every day. Another set is ones that I had made for me to go swimming with. I can actually wear them in swimming and get them wet, and I'll do that once in a while, maybe a couple times a year. And I've got another set that is an older set that was the previous daily set before these, and I could probably still wear them, but I would have fit issues. But obviously, they could be used as a backup if I had to have these in for repair or anything. I could go back to that, and that's what I currently have. As far as how many sets of legs I've had over the years, let's say a set of legs every 5 years or so is about right, 3 to 5 years. If you go longer than that, you're really lucky and definitely getting the most out of the equipment. If you go any less than that, there was probably something that wasn't right in terms of the prosthesis being made for you in the first place.
So you mentioned about a pair only lasts about 5 years. Does it wear out, or is it developments in technology? Why would you change every 5 years?
Well, thanks. We all change, and our bodies change, and what the clothes that fit you today are not the same clothes that fit you 5 years ago. It's the same way with your legs, and sometimes you change faster, sometimes you change slower, and not every set of prosthesis that's made for someone is the best for them in terms of the fit that's established in the first place. Sometimes things just happen, and you change. So you change with it.
Well, great, Mike. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on with me today. I really appreciate you sharing your story and sharing your legs and all the things, the wonderful things that you do, your activities, and the fact that you're just incredibly active despite everything. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Any last words before I go into my closing?
Not really. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate it very much. It was a real honor to be on this, and I hope anything that I've said helps somebody else. That's really my fondest wish.
Thanks again, and that's the idea. That's what we're here for, is to get out there and hopefully inspire people and help them realize that they can live a totally great life regardless of any setbacks they might have. On March 24th, my next webinar is going to be at noon. That's back to Tuesday, I believe, and it's going to be noon Pacific and 3 p.m. Eastern with Dr. Angela Loria. The title of the episode is called The Connection Between Body, Mind, and Self-Sabotage. Dr. Loria, or I know her as Angela, had significant weight issues. She would have a lot of weight, she'd lose it, she'd gain it back. And then she finally figured out that there was a reason, a psychological reason that she was doing that. So tune in and find out. Also, remember, be kinder than you need to be to others, but don't forget to be kind to yourself. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I'm going to start my conclusion here, see if I can make it happen this time.
We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other.